Good afternoon, everybody. As promised, I'm going to show you how to do these calculations on the whiteboard. Big thanks to my daughter for being my videographer. So let's begin. So the first step in figuring out somebody's caloric requirements, I like to work in steps. So there's 3 steps, but we're going to do the first one now. So the first one, we are going to figure out the BMR caloric requirements. Basal metabolic rate. So remember, this accounts for 60 to 80% of the caloric requirement calculation. So a big portion of our calories, it goes towards those calories just to sustain life. Okay, so let's do that calculation now. And there is a difference between males and females with this one. So if it's a female, we're going to take the weight in pounds and multiply by 10. If it's a male, we take the weight in pounds and we multiply by 11. So you might be asking yourself, why is there a difference? And that is because of the body composition. Females are made up of more body fat, and males are made up of more lean tissue between the two. And so therefore, females have a lower number to multiply by because of the factoring in that difference in body composition. So let's do one. So let's say the female, we're referring to, let's say she weighs 140 pounds. So we multiply by 10, 1,400. Easy peasy. Let's say we have a male. Let's say the male weighs 190. We're going to multiply by 11. And just to make sure I get my math right, 190 times 11 equals 2,090 calories, okay? So I'll put female here and male here, just to remind you, that between the two. All right, so now that's step 1. Once you have the BMR calories, then you have to factor in an activity factor. Bottom line, everybody gets an activity factor. Even somebody who is sedentary is going to get an activity factor. So the bare minimum is going to be 1.3. So 1.3 is for somebody who is sedentary. If they do exercise, so let's say they are a walker and they walk at a pace of about 4 miles per hour, so that's about a mile per 15 minutes. That's a pretty good pace. Let's say they walk for an hour, 5 days a week, then we're going to bump that number up, right? We might bump it up to 1.5 or 1.6. If they're a runner, we might pop in an even bigger number, 1.6 or 1.7. So depending on how active somebody is, we go up from the 1.3. For this scenario, we're just going to do the sedentary activity factor. So let's take 1,400 and multiply by 1.3 times 1.3 equals 1,820. Okay, if I do the male's the same, right? So 1.3 for males as well. And for this male, it's 2,090 calories multiplied by 1.3. Okay, so I have 2,717. Okay, so the activity factor was step 2. Okay, the third step is we need to factor in the dietary thermogenesis. Dietary thermogenesis is going to account for 10% of this number. And again, over here, so 10%. So 10% of 1,820, if you drop the 0, you're going to add, it's 182 calories. We are going to add the 182 to the 1,820. For the male, 10% of 2,707 is what, 272. If you wanted to do this calculation with your calculator, you could do 2717 multiplied by 0.10 for 10%. So, and that will come out again to about 272 calories. You're going to add that to this number. So if I add the 272, and over here, 10% of 1,820 was 182. We're going to add that. So 2, 8 and 2 is 10, 1, 9, 10. So 2,002 calories. And over here, it adds up to 9, 8, 9, and 2. So those are this is how you figure out somebody's caloric requirements, and this would be the number to maintain their weight. So then we have to ask that person, right? What's your goal? Are you trying to maintain? Do you trying to lose? Are you trying to gain? And then we go up from there. So that is how to do the calculation on how to figure out a person's caloric requirements for the day. Right, so thank you for watching this. Next will be the BMI calculation. So stay tuned.